Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of In the School Parking Lot. I'm your host. My name is Paul Everts. You can reach my email address, and I wish you would, B-A-N-D, the number 2, together, band together, Comcast.net. Also go to our website, which is Conducting My Life. You'll see I'm a speaker, a trainer, a coach, and I'm also an author. There's my book, Conducting My Life, right there. I would love to come out and do some leadership training with you, your company, your church, your school. And trust me, I know that I can be a controversial character. Yet, the content I'm giving isn't just for like-minded people. It really transcends everybody. So I'd love to have you give me a phone call. Just to remind you who I am or to introduce you, I've been a high school music teacher since 1989, and now I'm teaching middle school at a charter school. October 6th, 2021, I was told by HR to stop saying I love you to my students because that's weird. You got gray hair. Why are you saying I love you to your students? Stop that. You're making them uncomfortable. I felt like I was a character in the book The Giver. And then I was also told, hey, no more social media. The union sat there and said nothing. And when the union says nothing, you are nothing. So I said, I'm done. And I retired 3 years early. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't play the game. I was losing. And I needed to be with God. So when the same guy said to me, April of 2021, same HR person, you need to keep Jesus Christ in the parking lot, I said, I'm going to the parking lot. All right, here we go. So I give stories, and we work out of this book, Crimes of the Educators. I just read a couple of paragraphs from each chapter, hoping that you would go get the book. And this book, I'm telling you right now, is not being given to many, if not all, colleges of education. They don't want books like this. They should want books like this. Challenge the teachers. Don't just train them, educate them. Show them that there are books like this, and let them see what's going on. Why do we have dyslexia? Why are teachers doing these things that they're doing? This is a good book. All right, here we go. Today's story. First of all, it's June the 8th. I'm recording this on June 1st, but it's June the 8th, episode 14. Anti-DEI teacher sues California union over BIPOC board position. Discrimination, in quotes. Jackson Walker's the author. Crisis in the Classroom. This is Thursday, May 30th, 2024. Elk Grove, California, which happens to be like an hour away from where we live in Roseville, California. So, okay, Elk Grove, California. A California teacher is suing his teachers union after it allegedly denied his candidacy for a position on its executive board due to him being white. History teacher Isaac Newman attempted to run for a board position for the Elk Grove Education Association after becoming fed up with the school district's diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, DEI. And it's interesting too, as I go, there are too many people who do not know what DEI is. I don't get you people. No, study DEI, SEL, CRT, know these things. His attorney told Crisis in the Classroom, CITC, Newman, a decade-long member of the union, allegedly could not advance his candidacy past the nomination form due to being white. EGEA in 2023 created a BIPOC at large board position reserved only for individuals who self-identify. Well, wait a second. Bro, self-identify as a non-white, as a member of a racial minority group, according to the lawsuit. Okay, buddy. Yeah, sure, you're white. Just say identify as a BIPOC. Please, what are you doing? There's the answer right there. So when filling in the paperwork to run for the opening, Newman, quote, could not in good conscience check that box, said his lawyer. That allegedly made him ineligible to run for the position. The lawsuit aimed at EGEA now claims Newman was a victim of racial discrimination. Quote, EGEA deprived Newman of a specific opportunity to run for an executive board seat based on the color of his skin, end of quote. The suit reads, goes on to say, furthermore, the existence of the BIPOC position constitutes ongoing unlawful discrimination because it permanently damages Newman's future prospects of attaining a union leadership role. Of course, because you're not walking with the union, bro. Didn't you just hear me? October the 6th, the union sat there and said nothing. Nicole was quiet the entire time. The union is not defending you because you are ideologically opposed to what the union's doing. That wasn't what unions were for. Anyway, here we go. Boom. On to the book. Chapter 8. Right brain versus left brain. How to avoid dyslexia. Stanislaw Dehane, or Dehane, Dehaene. From Reading in the Brain, 2010. When children learn to read, their brains will never be the same again. First paragraph. The human brain is divided into two hemispheres, each with different functions. The left brain is the center of language development. The right brain deals with spatial functions such as art, distance, depth, perspective, and so forth. The human being is quite distinctive from every other species in that we have the faculty of speech, the ability to use a variety of voice sounds to represent meaning. Thus, we develop spoken language. Other species can make vocal sounds too, but only the human being has the unique brain faculty that permits the development of spoken language. The ability to use a sound symbol system to represent objects, feelings, emotions, and ideas. It is language that has permitted humankind to create civilization, write history, and communicate with one another in the most intimate manner. In other words, language permits us to have knowledge of the great power that created us, knowledge of the objective world, knowledge of others, and knowledge of ourselves. We think in terms of language. We formulate scientific knowledge by the use of language. We argue with our tongues. We pray with language. We develop complex philosophical ideas with language. We speak to ourselves in language. And that is why the distance between the highest jungle primate and the human being is eons apart. Okay, so there's a little bit of that. What does all this mean? First, it means that stimulating the brain makes it grow. It also means that neuroscience has finally caught up to those of us who have been curing dyslexia the old-fashioned way, which is teach the English alphabetic system by intensive phonics. Concerning the brain's plasticity, Deutsch, D-O-I-D-G-E, emphasizes the importance of exercising the brain. He says the irony of this new discovery is that for hundreds of years, educators did seem to sense that children's brains had to be built up through exercises of increasing difficulty that strengthened brain functions. Up to the 19th and early 20th centuries, a classical education often included rote memorization of long poems in foreign languages, which strengthened the auditory memory, hence thinking in language, and an almost fanatical attention to handwriting, which helped strengthen motor capacities and thus not only help handwriting, but added speed and fluency to writing and speaking. But the loss of these skills has been costly. They may have been the only opportunity that many students had to systematically exercise the brain function that gives us fluency and grace with symbols. What an extraordinary endorsement of classical education by a leading modern neuroscientist. Again, his name is Deutsch, D-O-I-D-G-E. And I'm running out of time, so let me get to the end of the chapter. And so here's the end of the chapter. In other words, the faulty methods used in teaching children to read can physically impair their brains. They can become, in Dane's words, D-E-H-A-E-N-E-S, Dane's words, spectacular dysfunctional. This finding alone should shock our educators into understanding how damaging their teaching of sight vocabulary is to the children in their charge. Finally, Dehane, D-E-H-A-E-N-E, wrote, all children have similar brains. The cerebral circuits are well tuned into systematic grapheme-phoneme correspondences and have everything to gain from phonics. The only method that will give the children freedom to read any text. Of course, Dr. Dehane is telling us something we've known since 1929. That's almost 100 years now. When Dr. Orton warned the educators that the sight method of teaching reading could cause reading disability. And we were further alerted by Dr. Fletch, who in 1955 told us why Johnny could not read. And we were informed by the Boston schoolmasters in 1844 why the whole word method produced reading problems. By now, we have brain scientists affirming what we have been saying all these years. It will be interesting to see what the progressives at Teachers College have to say about all of this. Great book. Thank you again for supporting us. Please remember there's a Venmo account. We would love your financial support as well. Again, I'm a retired teacher. All of us are struggling right now, or many of us are struggling, and I would just love to have your help so we can keep doing this. Appreciate all the comments that you have been giving me. Appreciate your support and your love. God bless you, and I hope this is helping.